Goodness, it's been a while, hasn't it? Right, I am back. Oh, good Lord. The last, I don't know how long, it's been an absolute blur. I had a look at the date of my last video and my last Instagram post, and I think it's been 2 months. So, sorry, those of you with kids. Yeah, summer is the whole thing. It's been lovely. I've had some lovely family time, but good Lord, my house has been a tip and I have not got much done at all. But it's back to school season, which means time for an autumn setup. I've been really looking forward to this one. So I'm going to show you today what I've got in my black Filofax personal size Malden. This is a bit different again. I wanted to go with a fold out kind of theme. I've got quite a lot of stuff that I'm going to be thinking about over the next few months. So I wanted to really maximize the space of this one. So here we go then. Are you intrigued? Hopefully this gives you some ideas for your own setup if you're thinking about personal size. So here we go. So no surprises in the front, of course. I've got my inbox dashboard that I tend to have in all of my planners now, apparently. And in the front pockets, I've got huge, this seems to get bigger every time, huge wad of icon stickers, because I like them, they're cute, they're pretty. And I've got some note paper, and in my little zipper pocket right here, I have a huge amount of stickers, which actually, I went through my last year autumn setup. If you remember, if you saw that one, it was my Van de Spec to back, which was very different colour scheme, and I really liked it. But if you have looked through that one, I had loads of stickers and I've pretty much just repurposed them. So I've just taken out all the unused ones and just brought them over. That happens a lot in this planner because I thought, well, I've been here before, I might as well try and reuse as much as I possibly can. So I'm going for my task cards again. I've changed them a little bit. They are a little bit different in terms of content. I've got my term dates, so important. I've got my monthly, weekly and daily task cards. Again, if you're new to this channel and you haven't seen me use these before, these are the kind of things that I have, that I tend to get out when I'm planning, just to have a look at the things that I know I need to do every week, every month, every day, whatever. And it just saves me writing them down every single week because, yeah, I haven't got time for that. But this, I know that if I do everything on these, it'll kind of keep me in the right sort of direction. So that's what I've got in there. And it's interesting with the Maldens because the pockets are vertical and you don't really get that with some of the Van de Spec and like Motorn ones, or like the standard ones anyway. So I have a bit of a think when it comes to it because the front pocket situation is just so different. I like having something at the front. I don't like having stuff at the front if it's not really that functional. But yeah, so that's what I've got this time around. So I have my inbox at the front and a little clip just in case I need to pin anything on the front. It's what I tend to do if I've got anything that's like, cannot forget it. You know, it's like as soon as I open it up, I'll have something like clipped on there. If you saw my summer one a while ago, I think it was at the start of my A9 video I was recording, I had got like a big sticker that came on my washing machine saying, please register me. You know, it's not very aesthetic and appealing, but it works if it's clipped to your front page. So here we go. Inside then, more note paper, a little bit of stickers and decoration, because if you haven't picked up by now, I don't tend to spend a really long time decorating my planner when I'm using it. It tends to be I am quickly planning at the start of the day what I'm doing. I'm quickly looking at what needs to be done over the week. I'm taking some time that I've had to force myself into to sit and reflect on stuff. I don't tend to sit and decorate and make it look nice very often. I like to do that at the start, so it looks nice. I want to use it, you know, it's welcoming. But it's not really the sort of thing that I spend much time on throughout. So it's kind of like as pretty as it's gonna get. I might get adventurous and whack an occasional sticker or stripe of washi tape on it. That's pretty much it. So in my inbox section, then heading back to it, I've got my inbox inserts where is the sort of thing, again, apologies if you've heard me say this again and again and again, it's where I dump anything that I'm thinking of that I'm just thinking, I'm going to make a quick note of that and then I'm going to forget about it. You know, it's that thing that it helps you empty your head so you don't feel like you're carrying all of that information around with you that I think just leads to stress and anxiety and overwhelm. Oh God, can't forget that. You know, it's like the sort of thing where you dump something down and you come back to it later and you can kind of feel reassured that you've got it, you've recorded it, you've got it out of your head. And appointments, I don't know why I save so much space. I never have any appointments. My haircut once in a blue moon, but yeah, one day maybe my life is going to get a lot more interesting, I don't know. And I had to plan a bit as well, just in case there's anything I want to add to my planner. Then order trackers as well, online refund trackers, because to be fair, those do go hand in hand, and tasks as well, loads of them, just for random lists, because you can't beat a good list, can you? I haven't got a tasks section. It's something I've moved away from fairly recently, I think, because I think lists and tasks, if you want to work on them, they need to be really integrated with your daily or your weekly planning. You know, like they've got to be brought into your current view rather than having to look in a different section to get them. These are literally for those like sofa planning sessions when you think, oh, I just need to get that done. What do I need to do? You know, like almost like project planning, but not, I suppose. So there we go. So we have here then my first little washi card. I've put slips in these, slips are there, so I can take them out really easily and use them, because I don't want to be opening and closing these rings too much. Partly because I don't know if I trust them after the issues I had with my mini Malden. That's on my channel if you want to have a look. Or because when it's quite full, and to be fair, the rings are smaller than I'm used to in things like Moterm or Random Spec planners. And it's that horrible thing where you open it and your pages just go everywhere. So I'm going to try and not take things out very much. So first of all, then I've got my daily section, and I've got a modified version of the vellums that I had before that I've been using as bookmarks. But what I've done with this one, I've made it slightly larger, and I've rounded the corners on this one, and that works as quite a subtle, to be fair. I might make them bigger next time, but I can see where my day is, and I've got one for my month as well, so that works quite well for me, I think. So I've got my daily section here, and it's just the basic 3-section daily that I've had before. If you saw my my summer one, you'll remember that I missed off my little line, and oh my god, it did my head in for ages. But I haven't on this one. And you'll also notice, if you saw my last video, that I'm going for colour this time around, purely because I don't feel like I've set up my planner unless I've added like a little swipe of colour. So I was doing it with my Tombow or a mild liner every day. I'm going for the even more streamlined planning route today. So I am pre-coloured this time round. So dailies are pretty much just loads and loads of those. I love my daily planning. I really, really do. I tend to do it the night before. I find that when I'm sitting on the sofa in the evening, I'm thinking, right, tomorrow, I'm full of these good intentions. You know, when you just think, I'm not going to do that tonight because I can't be bothered, but I'll get up really early in the morning and do it. Often you don't. But you do feel like you've kind of got things together when you're already planning the next day. So I like to write down on these what I'm going to do, or if I've got any like appointments or things that like absolutely need to get done. I tend to use this bit here for meal planning as well, because if I don't do it, then I just sail into having to take away in the evening. So I think about what I'm going to eat beforehand, ideally, and then tend to have a little box for a little bit of something extra, like just important bits and pieces, that kind of thing. So they're fairly basic with no headings, because that suits me, because I do tend to change what I have quite often. So I've got more washi again, and then I've got my weeklies, which is where it starts to get interesting. So before that, I'm just going to heighten the anticipation, because I'm going to have a little bit of my coffee. Hang on. Oh, I'm going to drink all of that today, promise. So these are my weeklies. I'm doing foldouts. I haven't cut slits in. There we go. I haven't cut slits in the pages just yet, but I will do, because I think the really, really easy thing about foldouts is when you can just whip them out and write on them on a flat surface when you are first setting everything up. It makes it so much easier. It's one of those things, I think, where it's like when you realise that you can do it like that, it's like, oh, that's a lot easier. Because to be fair, you don't want to be writing on stuff when it's like just dangling over the side, and sometimes I fold it back on itself, but you kind of need to see the overview sometimes, don't you? So anyway, this is what I've got. So on the first little bit of my fold out, I've got my essential what is going on this week. So I've just realised I've written next week on that one. Oh no, that's supposed to be this week for the date. Oh okay, well, I'm going to be spending this afternoon printing new inserts. Let's just ignore that, shall we? So this says this week for the date. Oh well. And on here then, I'm just going to say what my focus is. So is my week all about sorting the house out? Is my week all about being super healthy for once? Is my week about getting all of the things done on my task list that are building up? So I also have 5 important things this week, because to be fair, I said things because it might even be remembering stuff, or it might be tasks. So I'm keeping that fairly open. And then I'm going to write down the project I'm working on and the next steps I've got, because I think I'm really prone to feeling overwhelmed when there's loads and loads of stuff to do. And when you think about a project, again, like there's a difference, isn't there, between a task and a project. A project is a big multi-step thing that you're doing. And it sounds very worky, doesn't it? But it could even just be decorating your room or decluttering or something. And I think when you break that project down into different steps, you just focus on the next one. Before you know it, you're through them and it's done. But if you just think about it as a big whole, it's just really just overwhelming, and you just think, oh my goodness, where do I start? So this helps you with that where do I start thing. So my project's right there. And then I'm just looking for any other typos in here. No. So I wanted to think about wellness in a sense, in like a very broad sense, and feeling healthy, feeling rested, feeling like I'm doing everything I need to do, but isn't just getting orders out, that kind of thing. And I'm working on, cringe as I say it, because I've been working on this for such a long time, a happy planner that is purely for journaling and reflection and that kind of stuff. But I tend to work on things for a really long concentrated period of time, and then I get distracted or I get pulled away, and then I just think, oh, I'll finish that one day. So rather than not think about it at all until it's done, I'm bringing a little bit of in here. So I want to think about what I'm literally just going to be enjoying in the week, because I think, sometimes you need to just stop and think, what do I actually want to do with my time? Not what do I have to do, but what do I want to do with my week? And I think if you can take a minute at the start of your week to think, do I want to read something this week? You know, is there something that I wanted to watch on TV? Or is there like something I've seen on Pinterest that I want to try out, or something like that? So I'm just trying to make a point in the week to think about what I actually want to do. So hopefully I can make time for it. Then I've got what's happening at work. Now, I use Notion as my work planner now, mostly, but sometimes I've got things that I'm working towards that I need to kind of remember during the week. So if I'm launching maybe like an autumn range, for example, or if I know I've got to make an effort to build in some time for video editing, it's the sort of stuff that I might be thinking about when I'm not traditionally in the studio. So if it's in my planner, it kind of brings it more into my everyday. And this would be my reminders, because I think sometimes, you know, when you sit down, well, presumably you're at work, obviously, you sit down at your desk and you start doing stuff, you kind of get pulled into stuff, and you tend to lose sight of the things that you're meant to be working on or you wanted to work on. So again, it kind of like brings it in a little bit. And in here, I love foldouts. There's just something really satisfying about opening up a fold-out spread and just thinking, look at all that space. It's so nice. So the page size of this, just for a second then, obviously this is personal height, but it's wider than personal wide. So I'm going to work in centimeters here because that's what I do, but a personal page size is 9.5. So personal wide, for example, is 12 centimeters. So you've got an extra, what's that, 2.5 centimeters, a little bit. And if you've got B6, it's also a little tiny bit taller and tiny little bit wider again. This gives you a huge amount of extra space. So I love these. I've not used foldouts in a personal size since, oh crikey, I think the spring before last. It was a Malden stone one, if you remember that one. That's going to go back quite a way. It's right back towards the start of the channel. So what I wanted in here then, the focus was obviously space for every day and just what each day I'm going to be like physically doing. So is there someone coming over? Is there a thing that has to be done on that day? Is there a day specific reminder, like a delivery due or someone coming to like give me a quote for something, God knows what. And making food much more of a priority at the moment. Good Lord, I spent so long yesterday batch cooking. My freezer is full of healthy food. So I'm making an effort to think about that and actually write it in here as well. And again, gratitude, because it's so important, and making it a daily habit is really important for your psychological well-being. And I think similar to the tasks, I think if a section is elsewhere in your planner, you've got to remember to do it, you've got to think to do it. But if it's right there, if it's a box alongside everything else, you'll tend to fill it in a bit more, I think anyway. So as well as that, then what I've got is a bit of like my well-being kind of stuff. So how do I want to feel this week? I think that's a really important question to ask. So if you want to feel productive, that's going to set a direction for your week, isn't it? You're going to have to build in time to focus on your tasks, to look at your projects and to think about when actually are those slots you're going to set aside for working on stuff. But if you just want to feel energized, you're going to have different kind of things, aren't you? You're going to be making time for different food or like activities or that kind of thing. If you want to feel rested or like you want to feel more connected to people, I think it's just a really important question when you're planning to not think about just what you're doing, but how you want to feel during the week and hopefully at the end of the week. So there's a knock-on effect of that then. So what am I going to schedule time for? Which I think is really important when you're looking at the week, to think, right, okay, well, if I'm going to focus on eating healthy food this week, that's great, but when am I going to meal plan then? When am I going to get stuff out of the freezer? When am I going to get my groceries in? You know, and you can make sure that the things that you need to feel because of how you want to feel, you've got a place for them in the week. So again, habit tracking, which is something I find really helpful, because to be fair, like I think it's very easy at the start of the week to have all of these great intentions, but Thursday, Friday-ish, you think, oh, good Lord, why am I bothering? So it just reminds you to keep on track, doesn't it? So I then have huge essential tasks, huge ideal tasks. I don't think I'll ever need to have all of that much stuff done because that's not work related. But again, bringing it alongside my weekly overview. And again, to remind you then, before I had my task card, so I would just use that. I wouldn't write any of this stuff on there as such. I would just make sure that I've got all of those kind of covered when I'm planning stuff in. So on the back of here then, I've got my next week, because again, I think it's great working on 1 week, but you need to have a mind about what's coming up, so you don't get surprised by any birthdays that you've forgotten about or deadlines or God knows what. So I've got an essential stuff, some reminders for next week and some upcoming dates, because I'm terrible for not writing the dates in advance, so I don't write them down because I haven't got dates written in. I refuse to get a dated planner because I miss whole weeks sometimes, or days or whatever, and I just feel really bad because it means that you have to have an empty page, where I think an undated planner is brilliant because you can just pick it up and just carry on. It works for me. So yeah, so that's what we've got. Notice how many I did of these. I've got a huge batch of them as well, and they've all got the same mistake on them. Moving on. Oh, I'm going to read print after. So this is my monthly section, which is fairly standard. These don't tend to change that much, to be fair, but I've got another one of these vellum dashboardy bookmarky things. So I really like this layout. I don't use my month for very much. Gonna take a slurp of coffee. Hang on. Oh, I'm getting there. I'm drinking it. Are you proud of me? I'm actually drinking it. So I just literally write the dates on and put down events as they happen. I might have a must get done this month, or what's coming up next month, because I tend to work a month or two at the same time. With that in mind, I don't have a huge amount of sheets, although I have way more than I need. I don't intend to be in this planner over winter, so I'm thinking that this is going to last me until maybe November-ish. November, December, I'm going to have an A5 because we are toying with the idea, toying very, very carefully with the idea of moving house. So if I'm selling my house over Christmas, then that's going to be fun. So yeah, I might need lots more. And to be fair, Christmas as well, and all of the organisation that comes with it, that's going to be a lot. So, okay, personal section with some more washi tape. The question is, do I have anything in my personal section? If you have seen any of my other videos, you know that it's the one thing that I can't seem to get properly nailed. I always want to have a personal section. I always bring one in. I don't always use it, and I don't always fill it up. In fact, I think there was one setup where it just literally remained empty for the whole time. But the thought was there. The thought counts, right? So I can't actually remember what I put in here, so this is going to be a nice surprise. I've had this done for a while. Anyway. Oh god, just sidetracking for a minute, just because it's silly. You know, this is the difference between planning and planning when you've got like a channel to go with it. I've had this set up now for 2 weeks-ish, I think. 2 weeks. And I'm in that stage where, because I have this one, I don't want to use my summer one. And because I'm moving across anyway, and because like it's early September, so like it's time, I haven't used this yet because it's not all set up. So I literally have just been scribbling stuff frantically everywhere. I feel so disorganized. So, oh good lord, I've just been thinking, right, I must do that video so I can actually soil my planner with my messy handwriting. I'm just, oh, anyway, pull it together really. Where were we? Personal. Oh yeah. Right. So isn't this the cutest little sticker? Look, it's got a waffle on it. Anyway, yeah, waffles and coffee. That, I think that says it's quite a lot about me, doesn't it? So I have another task idea which I'm using as a bit of a reminder. I've literally just punched it so it sticks out of the top because, well, I never use my personal section, as you know, but if that is there, I can't really ignore it. You know, it's kind of as prominent as my dividers, so it should remind me to flip back and have a look at this one. So let's just take a minute to talk about a personal section in theory. So can you relate? You are busy. We're all busy. You're tired. We're all tired. You have stuff that you need to get done, and you do everything that you need to do to kind of to get everyone functioning, especially if you've got a household. I've got the husband and small child. To be fair, that's a lot less than some people have, but it's enough for me. It's more than enough. And I don't tend to build in enough time to do what I want to do. And I have loads of hobbies, loads of creative hobbies, loads of stuff, and I just don't do it. Or I kind of like, I do what I have to do. So like in the morning I wake up when my little girl wakes us up, and that's the start of my day, rather than I start my day how I want to, when I want to. And I always think, do you know, I need to I need to get up earlier and do what I want to do and make time to do all my bits and pieces and build in time for this and build in time for that, and wouldn't it be great to have a bedtime routine that is actually nice and fulfilling, rather than I move from the sofa and just collapse face down into bed and then, you know, wake up covered in trouble when my little girl comes in the morning. You know, like, it would be nice to be like somewhat more designed, you know what I mean? So this is what that's for, you know, to think of that. And also, when you've got spare time, you get that sort of rundown that you just think, oh, I've got spare time, what do I do? And I just scroll on TikTok. I don't do a lot. Or like, I'll have a nap and I think, oh my goodness, there are better things to do with my time. I need to be doing something different rather than just you know. So this is what it's for. It's to help me think about what I want to do. So in here at the moment, I've just got some wish lists and some future adventures, inserts as well, to write down like where I want to go, places I want to see. But what I really want to do is to think about morning routines, evening routines. I want to think about quotes that I might have read, or keep like a reading list of something, or make like a list of bits and pieces I've seen on like Pinterest or something that I'm just desperate to try out, or those creative ideas that you get and you think, oh yeah, I'll do that one day, and then you forget. So somewhere to record all of that kind of stuff in theory. So a lot of this, if it's used, is just going to be note paper that's written on and then moved into here. So I also have a project section. Again, I quite like having a project section. I like to separate out my projects so I don't have to think about everything I'm doing all at once. And I've got loads of those. We're doing a lot to the house at the moment. It's a lot. And then I've got my notes section at the back. And the main changes with this one, it's empty. I have no notes. What I'm doing this time is I've got on here, because the Maldens have got a weird back pocket situation. They've got like a, let me just take this out and I'll show you. The Maldens have got this pocket here and it's really deep, but what are you supposed to do with that? Like, it's great, I think, for maybe keeping receipts or papers, but it's not great as a decorative thing unless you wanted to like clip a postcard or a card to it or something. But I didn't really want to do that. So what I've got instead, this is my note paper, so I can take this out and I can have it on my coffee table or whatever, and that literally can just live in there for a bit until I come to use it. So that's going to live there. And if you also spot as well, I've got some dividers that I've put slits in. Those are to section up my notes to keep them organised. And to help me with that, I've just got some labels that I'm just keeping in this little wallet here, along with some extra bits of card and paper and as well. So, oh, I think that's it. I think it is. Yes. Ha, we're done. Right. Well, I hope that has given you something to think about if you are looking at how to make maybe personal size work, or you're intrigued about Malden or something. Can I just give a shout out to the contrast stitching? Oh, I love it. I love it so much. I don't think I'd like it quite so much if it was a plain black planner, but the black and white, perfect. So yeah, this is it. Hopefully then you will join me for my next video. There will be a lot, I promise. I say this because every now and again I've recorded a video, I just haven't uploaded it and finished it off. So I've got a lot. I'm also working on an A9 at the moment, which is interesting. And I'm also going to record as well a summer review as well, so you can see that. If there's anything else that you want to see on the channel, if you want to see any size comparisons or brand comparisons or ways to do whatever, or set up for like a different purpose or whatever, let me know, leave me a comment. I apologise, I am terrible at replying to comments. I normally glance at them on my phone and think, oh, isn't that lovely? And then I forget to reply, but I will improve. I do read absolutely everything, and I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to say hello or to comment on something. I absolutely love it. It's like one of the nicest things. So thank you. Anyway, if this has been useful, give it a like, share it with someone that you know is going to be into this kind of stuff too. We're not alone, are we? There are more of us. Hopefully, yes. Anyway, thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.